Today, we're heading across Turkey overnight on one of the country's most iconic trains, the Izmir Mavi or Izmir Blue. From the Aegean coast to Ankara, through the wide expanses of Turkey. As the night unfolds, I'll show you the whole experience, the departure from Izmir to the capital, life on board the private sleeper, the restaurant and the morning arrival at the capital. All of that made extra special by a fantastic crew who somehow turned the long night into a very cozy trip. Come along! Hi and welcome to Basmane station in Izmir, our starting point today for the Izmir Mavi or Izmir Blue train. Opened in 1866, Basmane has long been one of Turkey's gateways, connecting the Aegean coast with the country's vast interior. Upon entering the station, every passenger goes through a quick security check. But even if you're just dropping someone off and don't have a ticket, you can still enter the premises. Inside, the waiting room blends old and new. Beautiful classic wooden benches with leather seats sit beside a few modern touches like power sockets and, of course, being this Turkey, a resident kitten keeping an eye on things. But because of the nice climate, the real life here happens outside. A few kiosks add to the easy local feel of this place, along with an outdoors waiting area, and even the ticket and information offices are in this hut here. It's a very Turkish mix of practicality and everyday life outside the confines of a building. Trains come and go steadily here, with a few long-distance trains departing from the station, like the one on today's trip, the Izmir Mavi, connecting Izmir and Ankara overnight, a train that has been running in one form or another since May 17, 1984. Izmir Mavi means Izmir Blue, and the name Blue Train once referred to Turkey's premier long-distance express services. Elegant overnight trains linking major cities with blue and white cars and locomotives, a mark of prestige and comfort in their heyday. The Izmir Mavi is one of the last survivors of that era, still carrying the same spirit of the classic Turkish sleeper under the TCDD Tasimasilik brand. On board, there are seating accommodations, a restaurant car and a sleeper car where I'll be traveling, and you coming along with me on the long trip inland. During the video, I'll show you everything in detail. Shall we board? Welcome to my home for the trip from here to Ankara. At 7:05 p.m., right on time, the train eases out of Izmir. The sun is already low on the horizon, but there's still plenty of daylight, and with several hours ahead across the heart of Turkey, the journey to Ankara has just begun. From the Aegean coast to the capital, 840 kilometers across the heart of Turkey, as shown in today's trip map. Let me show you now the sleeping car and my compartment. This is a TVS 2000 car built by Tuvasash, now Turasash, in the late 1990s. The car has both a Turkish style and a Western style lavatories, one at each end. Both were kept clean throughout the trip. Now let's go back to my compartment and take a closer look at the small touches that make overnight travel comfortable. It's in day mode at the moment, but by pulling this little knob, the seats convert to beds. I'll show you that later. There's a neat ladder for the upper berth, currently folded away. For luggage, there's this overhead rack and this useful space under the seats. A small desk opens for writing or dinner and then folds back when you're done, and a compact fridge holds a few complimentary snacks from TCDD. There's also a vanity with its own light, and a small bin, a fresh towel, and one power socket. Above the door, you'll find the volume and light controls. Apologies for the strange look of the compartment shots. I forgot to remove the Polaroid filter on my camera, but the details are all here. Outside, the scenery drifts by, with one last glimpse of the Aegean at sunset before the train turns inland. Time now to head for the restaurant car and have dinner. Or so I thought. I had expected a full meal service, but despite having a proper restaurant car, it serves only light dishes. So, the banquet for this evening is humble: toast, a tuna salad, and an orange juice. But honestly, it does the job. Outside, the last orange light of the sun is fading, and the world slips slowly into the evening. The stops follow one another. Now we're at Manisa, our sixth stop, about 66 kilometers from Izmir and roughly an hour and a half into the trip. Manisa is a city of almost 400,000 people, a regional center of agriculture, industry and services. For us, it's a brief 3-minute pause before we head back on into the night. I'm not sleepy yet, so I head back to the restaurant for a non-alcoholic drink and end up chatting with a few fellow passengers who had the same idea. The train runs at moderate speed now as it climbs into more mountainous, curvy terrain. Slow orders are common here, and because of catching several on the route, we fall slightly behind schedule and arrive at Balikesir about 200 kilometers from Izmir, roughly 30 minutes late. The timetable allows 15 minutes here, but with the delay, the stop is trimmed to just over 5 minutes. Passengers board and disembark quickly, but I still have time to show you a little bit of the station. After all train operations are over, we are on our way again. Back in my compartment, the car attendant helps me convert the cabin to night mode. The bed folds out, showing this neatly made bed. I take care of my night ablutions, close the window, lock the door, and settle in. Good night. Good morning after a very good night's sleep. It's a little after 7, and this isn't exactly the view I expected when waking up. We are definitely running late. First things first, a quick wash and freshen up. Our first stop of the morning is Alpu, a small town of about 10,000 people, and only now do I realize we're roughly an hour and a half behind schedule. And I've got a connection in Ankara. We'll see whether I can still make it. For now, there's nothing to do but go to the restaurant car for a frugal breakfast and see how the morning unfolds. Any guesses? Will I arrive in time for my connection? What do you think? Outside, we ran alongside the Ankara-Istanbul high-speed line, a modern infrastructure that largely follows the same corridor as the late 19th century line between the two cities, which we joined in Eskişehir in the middle of the night. And, of course, don't forget this gorgeous central Anatolian scenery unfolding as we head further inland. After breakfast and with daylight, let's go for a walk through the train and take a look at the seated accommodations. These are TVS 2000 cars, built between 1993 and 2005 by Tuvasash in several configurations. They were part of a national push to modernize Turkey's long-distance services. At the time, the aging fleet was losing passengers and a fresh, comfortable car type was badly needed. The TVS 2000s were the answer. Immediately successful, they brought cleaner, more comfortable interiors, automatic doors, air conditioning, and improved ride quality thanks to their Y32 bogies, the same used in the French-designed and very successful Corail cars. Eyeing that very good experience, TCDD ordered even more, and nowadays they are found in all long-distance trains across the country. In addition to the sitting cars or pullmans as TCDD calls them, and which we are seeing now, the restaurant and the sleeping car we have on today's train, there are also couchette cars of this type. Today, over 40 years after their original design, they remain comfortable and capable of offering a good travel experience. In the near future, I'll be depicting these cars in a video of a trip from Bandırma to Izmir, so if you want to see these Pullman cars in more detail, keep an eye out for that one. After showing you the whole train, I'm back at its end for a while to see the world from the train's tail. It offers a long, quiet perspective of the landscape, and I especially enjoy seeing tunnels from the rear end of the train. I hope you enjoy it too. Back in my compartment, now in day mode again, I just sit watching the world go by. A little worried because of my connection in Ankara. That worry grows as our speed falls. The slower we go, the more anxious I get. And then we even stop to let another train pass. Otherwise, we keep grinding on, mostly at these slow speeds, stopping here and there. This is what happens when a train is late, missing its path when running in busy tracks, as is the case here, approaching a large station. The skyscrapers tell me we're getting close to Ankara, and eventually we roll into the main station about 1 hour and 25 minutes late. It isn't ideal, but it is what it is. The delay and the lighter than expected restaurant offer were annoyances, but small in the context of a comfortable ride and a decent bed. What really stayed with me though was the crew. The young man behind the bar, the conductor who was with the train in the first stretch since Izmir, and the sleeping car attendant who helped make the cabin perfect for the night, these people deserve far more than 5 stars. With kindness, humor and helpful information, even when the language barrier made things interesting, they turned the long night into a memorable trip. When there's a will, there's a way, and tonight the language barrier wasn't enough to prevent people who genuinely wanted to be nice and helpful from being so. I'm grateful to them for having made my trip much more pleasant. Thank you. Oh, and will I make my connection here in Ankara? Yes, although with hardly any time to spare. I'll be traveling shortly from here to Istanbul in the Turkish high speed, and that will be depicted in a future video. A very different video from this one. Thanks for riding with me on today's journey all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the trip, don't forget to like, subscribe, share and drop a comment below. It really helps the channel grow and keeps these rail adventures rolling, always with a bit of history and technology. Thanks for coming along, and I'll see you next week.